Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and I finished my July junk journal, as you saw in yesterday's flip through. And originally I was not going to take part in Christmas in July, and I'm still not pulling out my Christmas stuff. But I saw something that really inspired me. Thank you so much, Darlene. And so I'm gonna work on this little thing. So I have Artie Mae's Old Time Christmas digital kit. I have some Kara Brandon made some little definition cards. So I've got those. And I've already cut them into strips. I have some of Mrs. Cog's Christmas phrases. And other than that, I will use a little bit of my lace and maybe layering fabric, but I'm not pulling out my Christmas stuff. Not ready to do that yet. So I'm starting with the 6x9 envelope. The only thing I will caution you about in doing this is my 6x9 envelope is not actually 6x9. It's close, but it's actually like 5 5/16 by 8 and what did I just say? It's not 6, it's 5 15/16 by about 8 15/16. And it's not a huge difference, but when measuring stuff, it can matter. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing, mine had the little metal prongs on it, so I'm pulling that out and throwing that away. I'm also going to peel off this hole reinforcement. Okay, I'm going to fold that down, but not seal it. And I want to fold my envelope in half. And the pictures I saw of the one Darlene made, she said that hers was inspired by Dear Julie Julie. And so I don't know exactly how either of them were made, but I found a way that works for me. So, okay. And what I'm making is, first let me get this going and then I'll tell you what I'm doing. I've got a couple of scrap pieces of cardstock here, and I'm going to slide them in. And I'm going to try to slide them all the way down to the end. Probably should have cut a little more off of them to... There we go. All right, there we go. Okay, now, I am going to, but what I'm going to be making is an ephemera stuffed Christmas card, is what I'm thinking. Okay, So the first thing I'm going to do is right on my fold line on the inside. So if this could fold now, it would, that would be the front, that would be the back, this would be the inside front, and inside back. So on the inside, that doesn't have a blade in it, that's not the one I want. I'm going to line that up on my fold line, and I'm just going to cut it straight from the top to the bottom. And I'm not pushing hard, I am going over it several times to be sure it releases. I think my blade needs, or my knife needs a new blade. Helps if your craft blade is sharp. Okay, so I've got that cut. Now on this side, I'm going to cut from this bottom corner to the top. All right. And again, this is just an envelope. If you've got a sharp knife, you won't have to go over it nearly as much as I'm having to. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm going to scoop my cardstock down, if I can grab hold of it, sorry. Or maybe we'll just pull it out this way. And put it back in. Okay. And on this side, first I'm going to measure (1 3/4 inches from the bottom. I'm going to mark it in 2 places. Now slide my cardstock back in here. And the cardstock is because I don't want to cut all the way through the envelope. And now line my ruler up to these two lines and cut across. Okay. So those are the basic cuts. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see it, but my envelope is curved right here, which is great, but this is going to be a pocket and this is going to be a flip, and so I want to straighten those up. So I'm going to pull out my actually, I think I'll do one-sided. I want them to be even. Okay. So I'm going to start at the bottom and cut up to the fold line, and then I'm going to come up here and start at the top. And cut down to that fold line. Now, on this side, I'm just going to trim a little bit off. And you could do this with scissors. That probably actually would be easier. But I just want to trim a little bit off so that I'm not at, it doesn't get in the gutter of my card. Okay. And this, guys, really is not a tutorial because I'm kind of figuring this out. I've played with it a little bit, but I'm kind of figuring this out as I go along. So it's more just like a craft with me, and I'm letting you know what I'm doing. We'll see what works and what doesn't. Okay, so trim those off. And I think I also want to trim just a hair shade off of this one that will be the top flip so that it does not catch on the pocket. That is not straight. So I'm going to have to line it up like that. Need to make that one out of the way. That's better. Okay. So now what I will be doing is this diagonal that I cut, I'll be taking that one and folding it around to the outside, so that the outside will have a top corner tuck. The inside will have this corner tuck. Then I will have a flip here and a pocket here. And here, I haven't quite figured out what I want to do with that yet. I thought about just taking that off, but we'll see. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is basically I want to cover all of my surfaces with some paper. So what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to cover every surface. I'm going to cover this, which we just talked about, this. Then this one will only need to be covered on the outside because that will be a pocket. I'm going to cover both sides of this, and then I will cover this pocket, and I will cover this top tuck. So then when I start my video again, I'll show it to you, but all of that will already be covered. I got most of my surfaces covered. I left that one blank because I wanted to show you how I was doing the little corner ones. And I went ahead and put some paper there, but not there. So, but everything else is covered. I wanted to show you how I was doing the corner pieces, just in case you're a little unsure of that. So what I do is I take the paper I'm going to use, and I'd already determined that my full page size is 4 3/8 inches wide by 5 3/4 inches tall. So I'm going to cut this piece of paper to that size. So 1, 2, 3. There's 4 3/8. And five 3/4. Okay. So then all I need to do is make it triangular to fit right where I want it. So I make sure I've got it going the direction I want, and then I'm going to put it in my trimmer from the bottom right corner to the top left corner. And cut it. Then I take the bottom part of it, and it should fit right on there. So it's just that simple. And then for the front side, I did the same thing, but I cut from the bottom left corner to the top right corner. So it's just that easy. Okay, so I'm gonna ink around this edge real quick, and I'll get it glued down, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do, what I decided to do over here on this side. And all I'm doing at this point is putting down my basically my base papers. On some of them I may leave them, on other ones I may add a little embellishment or decoration. Like I said, the only thing I want to be cautious of is that I don't want it to be so thick that I can't send it through the mail without it being a parcel. Okay, so I've got that glued down. Now for this little flap, where did it go? I took a piece of the scrapbook paper and cut it, and I folded it in half. Inked around it, I edged those corners. What I want to do is I want to glue this down don't want it to be right on the seam because I'm not sure that it will hold well. So I'm going to scoot it in just a hair shade. And for this one, I'm going to use my art glitter glue. Along the edge of that paper. And I put the folded side right here because I will be stitching around so that if there's any spots that the glue isn't quite holding or isn't perfect, the stitching will get it. Then I'm going to come back in on this side and glue up the sides of the envelope flap, basically making a little side tuck out of that. Hold that down for a second, be sure it grabs. Oh, I wish I'd inked that. Yeah, I can still get it. Okay, I need a little more glue over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around, I'm going to ink my edges and I'm going to sew, nope, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see. A couple of these edges, I'm going to go ahead and ink here. And along this side. And I'll go ahead and glue this down. Making my top tuck on the front. And that one is done. I will go ahead and ink around this pocket. And glue this down, creating my pocket. Be sure my little tuck is holding. Okay, so now I'm going to pause the video. Now everything is glued down that I need glued down at this point. So I'm going to pause the video so I can ink my edges, and then I'm going to sew. So until the next video, please be safe, stay healthy, happy crafting, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.